Their heart is not into it. They're depoliticized. That's one of the main differences to the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, the propaganda was omnipotent, and now Putin's propaganda is very strong, sure, but the population is not brainwashed to just commit suicide for Russia. No, it's just brainwashed to stay away and let the government do whatever they're doing. That's the big difference between the Russia now and the Soviet Union of the past.
So it needs to be unity between people who do want to change in Russia, the average people, and then there needs to also be divisions from the top, so it can crumble from the top with support from the bottom. So the state can't just put down any rebellion. It needs to be those figures from the top, and then those figures from the top, they've been there forever, still, and they'll probably still want the same.
They've been there for a long time, but I don't think they will remain there forever. Putin has been killing and basically purging a lot of the people who used to support him for the minutest disagreement. Prigozhin is a perfect example of that. Remember the times when when Prigozhin was rising up and up and up in Putin's inner circle, and then with one action, with one fuck up, with one issue that happened, bam, that's it, plane crash. End of Prigozhin. I mean, fair enough, sure, it was a big issue. Prigozhin was basically refusing to do as he was being told to do. Nobody wants to have a dog that bites back when you tell him to fetch or something. But yeah, it just goes to show that the power in Russia is kind of shaky now. And I think we have to prepare for the moment when we will have to make this decision, or at least the governments will have to make the decision of whether or not we're going to actually go for the victory or just go for this uncertain, amorphous, unclear objective of, I don't know, we just do something, we just keep supporting Ukraine, but we don't give Ukraine enough to actually win. Then what's the point? We want them to win, actually.
Keeping the status quo does not reduce nuclear risk.
Yeah.
Putin will, because that's Russian foreign policy, it's just escalation upon escalation upon escalation. He will continue to use nuclear threats and might eventually even put them to practice. So I don't think the risk is reducing by keeping Putin in power. I think it's a bit the opposite. The risk is increasing. The longer he stays in power, the longer we allow him to have some sort of a semblance of victory in Ukraine of some sort. The risk increases, does not decrease. That's a misconception.
That's a good point, and I would even add something else to it. I think there's a risk that people aren't talking about very often these days, and that risk is not even Russia, and not China, not anyone in particular. The risk is the precedent itself of Russia, a nuclear country, a country with nuclear weapons, attacking another country without nuclear weapons, and getting away with any kinds of war crimes, any kinds of atrocities they're doing. It's a very bad precedent. It's going to make everybody in the world basically think, I'm either a nuclear power, so I can oppress anybody who I want as long as they don't have nukes, or I'm a victim waiting to become as such, waiting to be a victim, waiting to be victimized, right? And that's very, very, very bad precedent for the world, because basically everybody will want to have nuclear weapons, and the country who already do have nuclear weapons will become very brazen with them. They will be very, expansionistic, very aggressive with those weapons. Every single day that Russia hasn't lost this war, every single day that Russia remains unpunished for what they've done, that's the precedent that gets worse and worse and worse. It's a lot more than just about Ukraine, I'd say. It's not just Ukraine.
Guys, I was recently in Ukraine and I have some special candies from
you.
Ukraine. Yes.
Thank you very much.
This is very special from my
How nice
childhood.
of you. You want one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How nice of you. Cheers.
Take one. This
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, I get two of them. Thank you.
Yeah. How to explain? There's this peach, yeah? Грушка, this peach. And this one barbaresco,
Grushka is pear. Pear. Pear is grushka. Not bear, but pear. Bear is like,
Yes.
Long ago, when I worked in catering years ago, they told me that there was this drink, pear, ginger, elderflower, right? It's like a mixer, right? A non-alcoholic drink. And I thought that pear, you don't say pear, you say pear. and I kept saying pear. It's would you like to have a pear drink? And I thought it was beer and not pear. They thought it was alcoholic. I had to kind of explain it later on. It was very silly. But you know, with time I learned that you know, pear, bear, pear, beer. There's no beer. No beer. There is beer. Yeah, the drink beer. Yeah, pear, bear, pear, beer. Yeah, or peach, pitch, beach. That's a different one that we have to keep in mind.
And shit.
Yeah, sheet, like the bed sheet.